And we're live.
Hey guys, how you doing? Ryan Van Poederoyen here from Mastermind Motivation Worldwide, and I'm joined with the awesome Englishman and my good friend, Bo Hawkins. How you doing today, Bo?
I'm good, buddy. I'm freezing my ass off, but I'm good.
Yeah, it's pretty cold here in Vancouver too, but we are just talking about that inside Bo's place. It's freezing, but inside here it's a heat lamp right now. So we're at two extremes, and that's actually what we're going to talk about today. Not necessarily extremes, but two different things based around the subject, which is feedback, about receiving and giving feedback, and the importance of both, and why we think it's important that you should master both sides of that equation. So what we're going to do is something interesting today. So we're going to do a yin and yang approach. Bo is going to be talking about receiving feedback, and I will be talking about giving feedback. So that's what this topic today is going to be about. Thank you for tuning in, as always, guys. We appreciate the support. And you know what? If you haven't subscribed and you're checking this out for the first time, please subscribe. Get it out there. Let people know about this, because all we're trying to do is change the world for the better in the best way we possibly can with the messages that we like to deliver. So thank you for the support. Spread the word, guys. So let's get started about receiving feedback. There's lots of crucial things that come to mind when it about receiving feedback. You know, listening is one of them, but there's another thing that I'm going to let Bo start this whole thing off with. Go for it, Bo.
Well, one of the first things when you're getting feedback is you want to be able to recognize someone's good intentions and that they're doing it for the right reasons. Now, this doesn't mean every bit of feedback you're going to get is filled with good intentions and isn't self-manipulating or whatnot. So by recognizing those good intentions, you start to realize, okay, maybe I don't know everything. Maybe this isn't the best step forward for me. And then you start to listen. So for instance, if someone watches a video of mine and they give me constructive criticism, and it's kind of talking from a place of, okay, I like what you're doing. However, I believe that you could have used a better light, you could have used a better camera, or I don't agree with this topic. Maybe you should phrase it like this. It's good feedback. And whatever it is, good or bad, take it on, because it's your ability then to mold it into, okay, am I going to accept this and run with it? Or am I just going to go, you know what? I'm standing by my morals here. I'm standing by what I believe in, and I'm going to move on. And a lot of people get so wrapped up in feedback, especially, and here's the thing, Ryan, like you and I, we're in this industry. This is a feedback industry. Everything we do, we're putting out content for feedback to see the impact on other people's lives. Now, if we get a criticism and every bit of feedback, good and bad, it starts to mold us into what we'd call the crowd. And if we're the crowd, we just become a carbon copy of every single other person out there. So one of the importance of receiving feedback is to first acknowledge it. And if someone's given you good intentions, at least acknowledge that, because that's a great thing in itself. Someone's taken the time out of their day to offer you insight from their own heart to you. So that's what I'd say is one of the most crucial first steps in receiving feedback. So kind of flipping this around then, Ryan, what would you go into as in giving feedback, not just from yourself, but just in general about anything in life?
Awesome. When it comes to giving feedback, here's the first and most important key. This is what I truly believe is honesty. It's all about honesty. You got to be honest when you're coming at these people and you're going to give them your feedback. Now, here's the thing, guys. I'm a teacher. I'm a drum teacher. I've been teaching for 20 years. Okay. And I've gone through so many different scenarios, and my job is giving feedback to these drum students. There's something called the feedback sandwich, which I don't necessarily believe in, where people will pump you up and they'll talk about your strengths, and then they'll say, but, and then they take you down a notch. You know what I mean? And then they come back and they say, but this is how you can do it better. Well, it's great and all, but I think the reason you're giving feedback is because there's something that can help them right off the bat. So instead of just approaching them and saying, I love this, but I instead, especially with my drum students, I'll come in and I'll say, hey guys, here's how you can improve that playing. How you're playing the hi-hat right there. It was great. You know, you were on time, this and that, but this is the problem. your timing is off, you're not on the metronome, it's flamming, whatever the case may be. And I'll go, these are your strengths though. How can we apply this feedback to your strengths to make you a better drummer overall? And that's how I'll approach it when I come to it. It's that honesty. It's just like, cut to the chase. I'm not going to blow a bunch of smoke up their ass. And the reason I'm there giving the feedback is because it's constructive criticism. And what we mean by constructive criticism is this is going to help make you a better drummer, make you a better motivational speaker, make you better at whatever job it is that you do. But honesty for me is key. Okay. People know they're getting feedback from you. It's obvious that they're waiting for that to happen. So don't just pump them up and then hit them with it. Just come at them honestly, tell them what your feedback is, and then build on their strengths with that feedback. It works for my drum students. Out of all the different ways of giving feedback over the 20 years of teaching, as soon as I'm straight up with all of them and I deliver it the way that I just discussed with you all, it works beautifully and we get a lot more done, and everyone walks out happy. So that's the first and foremost, the biggest thing that I love to approach with giving feedback is being honest. Getting back to receiving it though, there's another step that's really important. And I know Bo actually talked about this last week, but now we're going to go in greater depth about it with feedback. And that's to do with listening and asking questions. So hit it, Bo.
Yeah, so once you've acknowledged, okay, this could be useful for me, this could actually be something that's beneficial, it's when you start utilizing that person and start going, okay, so my feedback, so this person's offering me feedback, and now I'm going to start not trying to pierce holes in their argument, but I'm going to start throwing the ball back to them. And I'm going to say, okay, well, look, this is why I believe in it. One of my biggest things, if I'm getting feedback, is if someone is giving me feedback because they strongly believe what they're saying, I will always listen, because they're coming. That's my kind of detector that their intent is pure. And it's a self-belief in them. And especially in this kind of field, which is kind of inspiration. And if our mission is to kind of go out and change the world, when you've got someone who's actually trying to make that a better mission, well, then I think it's our duty to listen to those people and go, okay, maybe they have a point here. I know some feedback when I was talking to Lewis Howes about how can I improve this message that we're trying to get out there. And he just cut the crap and he went straight to it. And he just threw the ball back and said, man, upgrade your camera, upgrade your lights, upgrade your mics. It's that simple, because your content's great. However, I think you're weak here. And it's great because as soon as someone calls you out on that weakness, you start to go, okay, well, if I start to feel offended and whatnot, maybe that there's a truth to it. Like, how many times have we been out and someone calls us on our bull crap and you start to feel uncomfortable? However, that little voice in the back of our head knows that it's the right thing that we should be listening to. So it's playing ball, and it's listening, and it's constructing something else, because although you might not take the direct instructions they take from you, it might amalgamate into something else. And we just got a really good question there, Ryan, which I think leads into our next thing that we want to talk about.
Yeah, it's a question.
Well, I got a question here. It says, how do you give feedback to someone who's easily offended? And I think what you're just about to talk about covers that beautifully.
Yeah, actually it does. And that is a great question. Here's how I approach that. I focus on the situation. I do not focus on the person. Okay. Lots of people have a tough time dealing with feedback. They're like, it's a hard thing to accept for some people. But if you look at the situation and you take the person out of it and you focus on maybe what the problem is or whatever, then it helps them feel more comfortable. They don't feel like they're being assaulted. Okay. And like, as soon as someone is on the defense, it's hard to get through to them. As soon as you can take that defense away and you can make them feel, like they can learn something, like they can be better because of this situation that you're talking about, the feedback that you're giving them, it makes them more comfortable. They're going to be more willing to listen to you. So, here's a great example. When I started playing with Devin Townsend project, Devin, would come in and he would give me feedback on my drumming. He produces all the albums and stuff. And I, at first was a little like, oh, whoa, hey, But what he started doing was he would focus on the situation with me, and it wouldn't be so direct to me. He took me out of the equation. He goes, "This is a situation, and this is how it makes me feel." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So it's not that he's making it about him, but he's just talking about the situation and how it makes him feel. And then instantly I wanted to listen more. And once he got his point through, then I was willing to go through with it more and learn from that. It was a really big turning point in our relationship, actually, because we were able to work with each other a lot better. And it's happened vice versa with me, with Devin as well. So we have this connection, we understand. But, you know, all in all, feedback is about the situation that you're dealing with, your job, you know, my drumming, the teaching, the student learning the drum beat. That's what it's about. So don't make it so much about the person, make it about the situation and how you can work over that situation to benefit you. And I think you'll end up having a really good end result. And that's what works for me. And hopefully that answers your question, because that's how I do it with my drum students. That's how I do it with my professional career, my motivational career with Bo here and Kat. And it's awesome and it works. So here's an awesome step for receiving. And we talk about this all the time, Bo. Being grateful. Take it away.
Rewinding it back to what you said, I'm glad you answered that, because in this day and age, everywhere you go, everyone seems to be offended by everything. You can't say anything without being offended. And I think just a quick note on being offended. I cannot be offended. It can't be done. You can call me every leprechaun, Irish, tiny little bearded name in the under the sun. It doesn't matter, because I will never allow someone else to have the power to make me feel a certain way, no matter who they are. And especially in this world where you can get random feedback and random interactions, that can really have an effect on a lot of people. I've been following some people's journeys on Instagram recently who are dealing with negative feedback, and they have a choice to be offended or not. And you know what? If you're offended, the problem's with you. It's not with the person who's saying it to you. They're the one with if it's you choosing to be offended. Now, how do we get around that? It's because I'm living in this grateful state of going, wow, people give me feedback. What a beautiful thing. I get to live in that person's head for X amount of time, and they've taken time out of their day to interact with me. And so once I start finding people that I trust, and that's a big thing that Ryan just touched on there, dealing with an offensive person, it is building trust with that person, because you can scare them off. I know in the past, many years ago, if I would encounter someone who was easily offended, I would probably offend them even more with my demeanor. However, now I know that it's my job to build trust with them. And a great way to do that, as Ryan said, is by shining a spotlight on the situation, not the person. But by being grateful for receiving the feedback, finding those people around you is one of the kind of keys of a mastermind. We all bounce things off each other. And because I trust you, I have more faith to ask even more in-depth questions, which I might be afraid to ask a random YouTuber who's just saying, shave your beard or something like that. But especially with Ryan and I, we feedback all the time for each other. We throw ideas back and forth. And the cool thing is there's never a point where you can offend the other person, because you're just going to say what you believe is going to do them best. And they know your intentions are good. So it can't be misconstrued. Now, saying that, in the kind of the more successful you get in whatever field you're in, if you're in the office, if you're in sports teams and whatnot, the more successful you're getting and the better you get, you're going to get a lot of people who love you. But you're also going to get what they call haters, people who hate you and just want to put you down because they're so miserable themselves. And my advice to you guys on negative content and people trying to put you down is just remember, they have to live with themselves every second of should be punished it that way. You can pray to God, the universe, whatever, that they will find their way and come around and live from a more blissful and grateful state. But in the meantime, they get to kind of it's like rotting from the inside. It does make me chuckle and kind of make me wonder where humanity is going when I read some of the comments on some of my friends' YouTubes and Twitter pages, because people are taking this time with this venom to get out and speak to people in a way that they think is going to change their lives. But luckily, the people that Ryan and I interact with have got bulletproof skin. And that's something that I had to learn. If I listened to every single comment, and if I showed you guys some of the responses that I give to them, because I have to delete them now, because I love getting involved. I love riling someone up and then telling them how much I love them. So that's just one of my techniques. Just give them love, guys. If you get negative people in your life, just move away from it. Find those positive people. Be grateful and start getting more feedback of the people you trust. And when someone new enters that circle, again, we're going to repeat it. You got to recognize their intentions. You got to kind of source them out, ask them questions and see where they are. And then once you've built that trust with them, that's a feedback you can go to. Like there's a lot of people that are outside my circles and outside Ryan's circles that we use, so that when we do mastermind motivation content, we come from feedback that neither of us have heard, so we can bring it to each other. So that would be my advice as the final step of receiving feedback.
That's awesome advice, Bo. It all makes sense. And that's the thing, is you're your own person. In the end, this really connects to 100% responsibility too. It's your choice to feel that way. And if you're going to let people bring you down like that, that's a choice that you made, and you got to deal with that. That's 100% responsibility and action right there. So that's some amazing words right there, guys, from Bo, and definitely something that you need to think about and apply on a daily basis. Being grateful is such a great thing. But if you're grateful for people trying to make your life just a little bit better by giving you constructive criticism, that's even better. That's something to definitely be grateful for. And I'll tell you this, with my music career and the many years I've been doing it and the connections I made, the peers that I have, wow, man, I am so happy that I listen to all the feedback. I'm happy that Devin gives me consistent feedback on writing music, on playing my parts live, or whatever it is. It's not like he's attacking me. All he's doing is trying to make the situation better. So it's great words there, guys. We could talk about that topic alone for an hour. But I'm going to go on to the last thing when it goes about giving feedback. Here's the thing. Once you give feedback and you've gone through all the steps that we've talked about, the most important thing you can do is give examples. Okay, let's put it this way. Have you ever been in a situation, someone gives you feedback like, yeah, Reddit, yeah, it sucks, man. It's just, yeah, whatever. It's like, how is that constructive whatsoever? It isn't, right? Whenever I give feedback to my drum students, to any of the guys in the bands, when Bo and I are going about something, I give a solution. I give an example, okay? A great example is if a drum student of mine is not playing the part right, and I were to respond, that's just not right, do it again. How is that going to help them? Chances are they're going to probably go back and do it again. Instead, I'll go, you know what's happening here is your kick and snare drum are out of place. You need to align them so they aren't flamming, or you need to do this with your hi-hat part or whatever. But I will give them an example so it can improve the situation, okay? Every time that you're giving feedback, please do yourself a favor and make sure that you have examples to back up what you're giving feedback on. People will appreciate you more. They will want more feedback from you, and they will be into listening to you every single time you give them constructive criticism. I've been on both ends of it. I give it all the time through teaching, but I receive it from my peers. I receive it from Bo. I'll receive it from Devin or any of the guys in the band. I'm going to the NAMM conference this weekend in LA. And if any of you are going, come say hello. I'll be there. But I look forward to getting feedback on my career from my endorsements. How do I handle my endorsements? Is there anything that I could be doing better? You know, the first thing they'll do, because they're professionals, is they will say, yes, you can do this better. Here's an example of how you can do it. And I will be willing to listen because it's constructive criticism and they will be giving me examples. So guys, these are just some examples that you can use. But if you're going to give feedback, make sure that you can back it up with examples of how they can better themselves. That's the whole point of feedback, is you helping the other person or a group, it could be any situation, to become better. So that leads us in to the favorite exercise of each live feed. It's the 100% responsibility exercise. And this week, Bo's going to take it away.
Well, guys, this one's a simple one this week, and I know it's going to sound overly simplified, but if you actually think about it, I don't think a lot of you are actually doing this. So whatever you're looking to advance in your life and that you're taking seriously, it needs to be something from your heart. What you need to do is start looking for feedback. Now, all you need to do is choose one person. It could be a coworker, a family, a friend. It could be your butcher, whatever, someone that you feel that you could trust to give you some nuggets of gold and not kind of BS you or be sycophantic and tell you how great you are. This is one of the dangers of going to family all the time. I know that the way I was raised and I know the way Ryan was raised, that our parents don't really bow down to that. If they see something's going the wrong direction, they'll tell us. However, I'm sure you'll find someone who's got your best interest at heart. Find that person and actually just ask them for feedback on an idea. It could be a script you're writing. It could be an idea for a new workout plan. And what it does is it starts making you accountable as well. So tying in with 100% responsibility, by you sharing this out, this person now knows what you're trying to do. You become accountable now for the next results because they could follow up with you in a day, a week, a month, saying, did you finish that script? Did you go to that job interview? Did you keep working out? Whatever it is. So guys, what I want to kind of tell you guys to do is go and find that person and get feedback. Now, take it from the steps that we did on this for receiving and go, okay, their intentions are pure. Yep. Now start questioning it if you don't understand it, and then start applying some of the things that you believe will set you forward. So that's just our 100% responsibility exercise this week. And we'd love to hear in the comments in this video that we can read for next week if you have actually done this. And it could actually even be to myself or Ryan. You can do it on the mastermind page through the messenger, but it's better to do it in person because when you're looking in someone's eyes, it gets rid of this internet warrior syndrome. And that ties into one of the questions just we got there was, how do you respond to negative comments? Look, most people's negative comments, 99.9% of them, they would never say to your face because they're cowards. So just don't even give them a response. So my advice to you is find a person to actually meet up with over coffee, maybe just for a chat, and then give them what you're looking for feedback on and really honestly take it on. Now, you could take it on and it might not work. It doesn't matter. At least you've gone and tried it. And then you might actually bond with this person even closer. You might start forming your own little masterminds. So that is this week's 100% responsibility exercise.
And there you have it, guys. That's this week's topic. It's all about giving and receiving feedback. It's important to know how to do both. If you follow the steps that both Bo and I gave today, it will improve your work life. It'll improve the life of your dreams that you're going for and your personal relationships. You know, it could be the difference between, you know, your relationship going downhill and your relationship going uphill. Because I'll tell you this, my wife and I, we have an awesome relationship, but we've had many times where we've had to work through it. Okay. And working through it, it was about listening to the constructive criticism, to the feedback that she gave me. And she's like, Ryan, you know, if you could do this more and more often, it would help me so much more in this area of our relationship. And I will listen to it. It's constructive criticism. And when I started applying it, it worked. You know what I mean? There are other times where feedback's given and it doesn't necessarily work. But here's another key component, guys. Give it a shot. What's it going to hurt? If it's something that you haven't tried before, you might as well try to see if it's going to work at all. Okay, that's what constructive criticism is all about. But these topics that we talked about today regarding feedback are super important. So go over the video, watch it again. Like Bo said, go to the comment section, leave comments. If you have questions, we love answering them. And perhaps we'll even answer them on the next live feed or whichever. But the most important thing is learning and applying, guys. So there it is for this week. It was a great topic. I'm glad that we talked about it, Bo. I hope all of you have an amazing day. Like I said, I will be at NAM in LA. So if any of you guys are there, come up and say hello. I'll definitely, give you a high five and chat with you for a bit. We will be back, even though I'll be in LA. I'm going to be there, and we will do our next live feed next Friday. I won't miss it. So tune in then, and please subscribe to the channel, guys. Spread the word, and we'll take it from there. And Bo, have a great day, man.
Well, just a quick shout out to, we got quite a few people on the chat here, like Shadow Manager Steve, Tracy, Joe, Lily, Sharp Vegan. All these people are on commenting. So thank you guys for interacting. Also, feedback, just quickly, if you can comment, how has the new time worked? Is it more advantageous for you to watch us at this different hour? We are experimenting, and we now want your feedback. That has the 2 hours difference from how we normally, or 3 hours difference, how we normally do these live feeds, helped you if you're watching it live. So that's our kind of question for you guys, if you could give us some feedback. So guys, thank you so much again. Ryan, thank you so much for tonight.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day. Take care.
Bye.